In 1 year, I built over 100 apps. And I learned a lot of stuff. I learned what to do and what not to do. And here's the catch. Did it all as a vibe coder. I'm gonna tell you what I just learned. Let's get it. Let's start with number one. The first one is just take it slow and do it right. You can do it, baby, right? At the end of the day, I think what happens is because of the speed of technology, we don't find value in taking our time. You see, I just slow down and I start talking, right? And you start slowing things down, I can think through my thoughts. I can think about what I'm about to say next, and I have no idea what it's going to be. I don't know the outcome. I just know that I'm taking my time. Same thing with developing apps. Because we can vibe code, whether you call yourself a vibe coder or not, because we can vibe code, we can go in and out, and we can go fast, we can iterate, we can do all this stuff. I'm saying in the moments that you can slow down, just slow down. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, straight up. Because what we end up doing is because we can get to an MVP really fast, we'll get there. Then we got a lot of times you're just sitting there just twiddling your fingers, and next thing you know, you start adding stuff. You don't have to. Get to the MVP and let it rest, meaning minimal, keyword being minimal, viable, is it useful? Product, is this something that somebody can use? Get to that point and then just go back and sit on that MVP. I'll even recommend walk away from it for a day or two, then come back to it and commit to not changing anything. Just commit to saying, how can I make this better? How can I make this, how can I fortify the existing features? You ever heard of, I forget the term, but basically you know a lot of stuff, but you know nothing at all? I'm gonna tell you to master one tool. It's all kinds of information coming out, and it's coming out faster than we can keep up. I'm getting whiplash, and I'm in this every day. I have a task, an agent that goes out and find me news information and bring it into me so that I can know what's going on with AI, and I can't even keep up. I don't open half of them because it's just too much. What I'm telling you is that can be very tempting for you to go and start thinking like, yo, I need to learn all these different tools. Before you know it, you know nothing. I'm saying master one. And because of the way that the LLMs are growing and they're going, you can see those different charts and all that stuff. I don't read none of that stuff. I say, I'm going to learn. So I'm sticking with ChatGPT. I stick with it. I use it, not because it's the best, not because it's not whatever. I'm sticking with it because I want to become stinking good and better because it's going to get better. And if I understand it, I'll just get better. Prompt engineering ain't going nowhere. I don't care what these dudes are talking. You got a bunch of angry, upset for some strange reason, these developers, maybe because their jobs are at risk. You know what I'm saying? Some of them don't believe it, but they just like, yo, maybe their job's at risk, and then they just don't like the idea, like this prompting is gonna go away. I don't know about that, because as we're building more and more AI agents, and we're building more AI infrastructure and platforms that are pretty high level, the more I'm realizing, like, man, you better know how to talk to an AI. Here's the basics. Forget prompt engineering, because that's just a term people don't like. But what about communication? How important is it to communicate? Even as a developer, what I'm learning is that I'm used to going to command prompt as an IT engineer. I'm used to going there, or I was used to it. Now I had to brush everything off, and you do one forward slash backslash wrong, it's off. You better know how to communicate. So what if we just look at, if you're going to play in the world of AI, which we all are, then you better understand how to communicate. Prompting will change. You may not have to maybe tell it it's an expert in the very near future, because it's going to know it's an expert in. But everything else, you're going to have to make sure that you communicate well exactly what you want. Build a plan, because you ain't gonna get by with just having vibes. You feel me? Like it's just not gonna cut it. Make a plan, man. Like, I don't care what you use. I'm not even gonna bore you, give you my planning structure. I'm gonna tell you to come up with the plan. Just write it down just write down 3 steps of the plan. Now, what is this thing gonna look like? Who is it going to reach? How is it gonna read them? And what features is it gonna have? Write it down and then say how, and then take that and then drop that in ChatGPT and say, give me a good plan on how to roll this out if I'm going to vibe code. I'm going to do this. Give it to ChatGPT, and it'll give you everything that you need so that you can have a plan. Here's the way that I learned early in tech world: people, process, then implementation. People. make sure that you got the right people. Make sure you're dealing with the right people. Process. Make sure your systems are in place, your strategies and your systems and all your documentations in place. Then we move to implementation. Implement things at a steady pace, not necessarily super slow, but you need to go at a consistent pace to implement so you don't mess things up. People, process, implementation. Know your space, know your place, right? Believe it or not, if you go into different environments, you will work differently. Some people, they don't mind having chaos around them. They can do those things. Some people need it to be squeaky clean and everything in order. Whatever your thing is, figure that out really quickly to figure out so when am I most productive when it comes to developing products, when it comes to building things? Find that environment, create it and protect it, and then go there when you need to be creative, and then come out of that space when you're not. We heard of MVP, but there's an MVR, which is minimal viable runway. That is when you know how much time you have to go from here to there, from a financial, from a time standpoint, right? So how much time do I have to go from here to there? That's critical, because what happens is that in between, you get to the end of the rainbow and you burn out, or you run out of funds, you run out of time, you run out of patience, right? So knowing what that is, go into it knowing hey, I have 18 months that I can go to here. And by month 15, I need to be here, or I'm gonna make this right or left shift. While you're in your actual build and your vibe coding, no matter what you're using, do this. Document everything. So take a moment. If you got something, if it's something good, if you finally get something right, where the AI does it and it's working, but you've been working on it for a long time, the likelihood of it going wrong again is high. So why don't you take a moment and say what I'm gonna do is I'm going to document this right now. And here's the thing, that you can do this. You can tell the AI, say, this is very important. I need for you to take this, I need for you to document this. Drop it in my library folder. If it's not a library folder, create one, and drop it in that folder. And I need for you to put it in this order. And then you tell it to drop it in and name it something that you'll remember. And then you write that name down, put it in your phone so you remember where that file is. Because when you need it, you can go back to it. And here's a tool, here's a tip. What you can do is that as you're going through things, you can tell it to refer to that document. Go back and look at this MD file. Go back and say and get familiar with this particular problem. And then let's build from there. If you can't explain it, you can't scale it. Probably a lot of things, but definitely when it comes to technology and AI products. So you're looking to sell an app, you're looking to scale it. It's very difficult when you can't explain it, because you basically 1 prompted, 3 prompted, and you got something that kind of works. But man, you need to be able to explain it. So finding tools that will help you to understand is really key. So one of the things you can do right in app, what you can do is as you're building inside your tool, mine is Replit, but as I'm going, if I don't understand something, I'll take an extra minute. It'll literally take the LLM 1 minute to go find, I don't know what this means. Can you talk to me like I'm in eighth grade and explain this topic to me, explain what this is. Don't be detailed, just give it to me punchy, straightforward, no chaser. And what it'll do, it'll spit it out to you and explain to you. And then 3 minutes later, I move on. But I'm learning as I'm going. That is the key in order to develop and be able to grow as a vibe coder. I'm often asked, what do you use? What do you use? And what's really happening is that people are trying to figure out, how do I use AI in my day-to-day workflow? So how do I use these tools and all these things are coming at me? I'm gonna tell you that first, once you learn your one, and you're like, I really understand how to communicate, and that's your primary tool. That is, are you using ChatGPT? Are you using, Gemini? Are you using Perplexity? What are you using? Claude? What are you using? Then just use it, because they all pretty much the same. You feel me? They're gonna all be in the same space. And then you're gonna want to have, what are my secondary tools? And for me, I use things like NotebookLM. It's like a go-to. for everything. And what I use Notebook LM to do is to train me and teach me things. So if I need to know anything about anything, I'll take all of my research and I dump it in there, and I'm going to look at it. I'm going to do an infograph. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm going to be trained on it because I'll have it do a visual training for me, right? And if you're vibe coding, just select one of them. You're right. I believe that Replit is a lot further ahead than some of the other ones, and so I choose to use Replit. But I'm a person, I don't like to change, but I'm going to know Replit better than anybody I know because I'm going to keep on. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it. I'm not going to be jumping and trying to learn a bunch of them. I just need to learn Replit and know it very well, because if I do know it, Replit goes out of business, Replit shifts, or I stop liking it, I can take those same skills and move it over to another vibe coding tool. But at least I master it, and I'm working on that one to get better in it. And in terms of agent, and this is my fourth one, this is the agent I use. It's a day-to-day agent that I've used. It's called GenSpark. If you haven't heard of GenSpark, look it up. It does all my research stuff. Anything I need deep thinking, and I can just walk away and I come back and it has something for me, I'm going there. So I have my top four. These are my four. My four would be Replit for vibe coding, ChatGPT for day-to-day, day-in, day-out, writing and that kind of thing. GenSpark for my agent so that it does my deep thinking and all my critical thinking things. And then Notebook LM, so when I need to understand something, I need to present something, I'm going to Notebook LM. Those are my top four. But there you go. After 100 apps built, that's what I got. You feel me? Man, like, subscribe, follow, say what's up. If you have any questions, hit me up.